Okay, let's try a thought experiment. What if the entire universe, I'm talking every single particle, every galaxy, wasn't made of stuff at all, but was just a single intricate dance of geometry? Well, today we're going to dive into a theory that says exactly that. It's a vision of reality where everything is just motion.
And believe it or not, our story doesn't start in some high-tech lab. It starts in the mind of a kid. You know how when you're a child and you press on your eyelids, you see all those weird patterns? Well, the author of this theory did that, and he wasn't just seeing lights. He was trying to see the actual shape of nothingness itself.
So yeah, that childhood curiosity, it wasn't just a phase. It turned into a 40-year-long quest, a real obsession to figure out the fundamental rules of reality.
And his path was, well, it was anything but typical. I mean, at first grade, he's grilling his teacher about what time is. By age 8, he's completely hooked on Bertrand Russell's ABC of relativity. Then as a teenager, he gets consumed by the geometry of a simple right triangle. And this fascination, this obsession, 40 years later, leads directly to this new theory.
Yep, that's right. After all that, his focus narrows down to one thing: the humble Pythagorean triangle. He became absolutely convinced that if he could just figure out how to spin this simple shape in the right way, he could literally unlock the secrets of the entire universe.
Okay, so how on earth can a shape we all memorized in middle school possibly explain, well, everything? From gravity to quantum particles? Let's dive in.
We all know it, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. For us, it's a fixed rule about the sides of a triangle. It's static. But what if it wasn't? What if it had nothing to do with length and everything to do with motion?
In this new way of looking at things, the triangle becomes dynamic. It's alive. So one of the shorter sides, let's call it mu, represents matter, the actual stuff of the universe. The other side, E, represents the energy of its rotation. And the long side, the hypotenuse alpha, that's the total state of the system, this perfect constant balance between matter and motion.
And this is where it really starts to click. See, we're all used to Einstein's E equals mc squared, right? The idea that mass and energy are basically interchangeable. But this theory says, hold on a second. It's more like they're the two shorter sides of a right triangle. They are fundamentally different things. One is matter, the other is motion, but they are forever connected, forever part of the same whole. You literally can't have one without the other.
So, you might be wondering, where is all this spinning and dancing actually taking place? Well, the theory proposes this fundamental fabric of reality, and it's called the Aetheron. You can think of it as the ultimate cosmic stage, this incredibly complex, self-organizing field where all of these geometric patterns that make up our reality play out.
All right, get ready for a really mind-bending idea. In this model, things don't move through space. The motion itself is space. Yeah, let's unpack that.
So, for something like an electron to even exist, our little triangle has to go through a whole rotational dance. It's a full cycle, and it happens in 4 distinct phases. The first phase is a simple 180-degree turn. This basically sets the particle's fundamental orientation, or what you could call its handedness. Then, it keeps spinning and flips over. And in this second phase, something amazing happens. Properties like electric charge just emerge. They aren't some extra little thing stuck onto the particle. Nope. Charge is a direct consequence of the geometry of this specific part of the rotation. It's baked right in.
The dance continues. In the third phase, we get another flip, and this is where gravity enters the picture. That matter side of our triangle, the mu, becomes geometrically linked to the curvature of space-time. So again, gravity isn't some mysterious force pulling things around. It's just another feature of this ongoing geometric rotation.
And finally, the fourth phase. This is the last flip that completes the whole cycle. It locks the particle structure into a stable, closed loop. And that's it. The particle has now defined its entire identity, its mass, its charge, its interaction with gravity, using nothing but pure geometric motion.
So, what was the grand total for that whole performance? 720 degrees. And this isn't just a random number. This is the very reason why particles like electrons have that weird quantum property called spin 1/2. It means they have to turn around twice, 2 full 360-degree rotations just to get back to their original state. It's a fundamental requirement of their geometry.
Okay, so if particles are basically just these complex knots of geometric motion, what does that imply about the forces between them? Well, it pretty much changes everything. Let's talk about one of the biggest head-scratchers in all of physics. If you look at Einstein's famous equations for general relativity, the ones that describe gravity, there's this weird factor of 8 pi just sitting there. For 100 years, the question has been, why? Where on Earth does that seemingly random number come from?
Well, this theory has an answer. It says 8 pi isn't an accident or some magic number at all. It's the geometric signature of a complete 1440-degree supersymmetric cycle. That's 2 of those 720-degree particle-creating rotations we just talked about, one for matter and one for its force counterpart. It's the geometry of the whole system, unified.
Now, this leads to an idea that is, frankly, completely radical. It's called the non-propagation hypothesis. And what it means is forces don't travel at all. I know, we're all taught that light is photons and gravity is gravitons, little messenger particles zipping through space. This theory says, no, that's not what's happening. Instead, forces are like instantaneous resonances across that entire Aetheron field. Imagine hitting a drum. The whole skin vibrates at once. That's what a force is.
So, what about the 4 fundamental forces we know and love? Well, they aren't separate things anymore. They're just different harmonics of the Aetheron. Think of it like a guitar string. Gravity is the low, fundamental note, the large-scale curvature. Electromagnetism is a different kind of vibration, an orthogonal one. And the strong and weak nuclear forces? They're just really tight, localized vibrations. All different notes from the same instrument.
Okay, we've gone pretty deep down the rabbit hole. So after all that, what's the big takeaway? What should we make of this new geometric universe?
I think the most important thing to grasp is this. This theory is asking us to completely change how we see reality. It's a universe not made of tiny little things, but one that's woven from a single, dynamic, living geometry. Particles aren't billiard balls. They're stable patterns of motion. They are, as the theory calls them, Aetheron knots.
And so that leaves us with a really profound final thought to chew on. Is the universe really a collection of separate little objects bouncing off each other? Or is it something else entirely? Are we, and is everything we see, just a small part of one single, continuous, magnificent geometric dance?